Oh god, here we go. Ooh. Hello, I'm new and could use some help in receiving instruction about how to use this application, yeah? I'm a tad bit of a dunce when it comes to technology. BT dubs, please don't compare me to Sauce. It was tragic about a die, but I am POC, so I'm Sauce separating in it. Ah yes, good old Lizzie with the Cockney accent and the propensity for saying ooh ooh. What a gal. May we all remember her for being a queen of the people, always serving, even on Discord. Sorry, I got that wrong. A queen always on a server with Discord people. There we go. Guess the FaceTiming ex-person from the grave at 3 a.m. no clickbait she actually picked up blah 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 trend just wasn't enough. Now, it's shamelessly pretending to be someone who died less than 12 hours before you post, shamelessly pretending to be someone with a debilitating rare disorder for clout, and pretending to be a different skin color than you say you are because no one can argue against you or they're ableist and racist. BT dubs, it's fitting that you made your phony alter have a Billy Butcher accent, because what you did, well, he said it better than anyone.
That was diabolical!
Hey Girl Scout, what's shakin'? How have you been? I personally have been pretty good. I've been focused a lot on forming new habits and hobbies to make me feel good. Adding some new skincare products has made a huge difference. And baking various pumpkin treats is giving me serious cozy fall vibes. I'll be honest, since opening up on the channel a bit more about my mental health, I felt very uncomfortable. I guess I was worried about becoming like those TikTok kids who make their illness their identity. Like an ultra-ironic villain origin story. But then, I checked back on fake disorder cringe, and I realized that the line between showing empathy through shared experience to try and raise awareness and basing your content around misinformed representations of mental illness for clout make them two different ballparks entirely. Great subreddit. Mind now at ease, and lots of cringe to react to for today. So, enough of my rambling, let's just jump right into it. Or in this case, fall right into it?
I was curling my hair and I could feel a fainting episode coming on, so I grabbed my phone to document. Good night. Having my arms above my head triggers episodes for me. BC, my blood doesn't circulate right, so my brain isn't getting enough blood or oxygen. I was unconscious for about a minute and a half. I trimmed it because it was boring. Dino arm remembers I was recording. Look of defeat, 10 out of 10, don't recommend.
Yeah, I felt myself about to pass out, so I summoned my Barry Allen altar to become speedy, and spent that extra time setting up a sick shot before gently fainting. And when I got bored and decided to wake up, I instantly grabbed my phone to make sure I got the footage, doing a cute face to end the cinematic masterpiece on a high note. Or a low note, I guess, since I'm still technically on the floor. No, you didn't have time to set that up. And even if you did, why would you waste those few minutes you could be using to move somewhere safe to avoid injury? Oh, because then it's not going to get you internet points, right? Do you want sympathy? Because if holding your arms above your head triggers your fainting and you're purposely doing it, that's on you. Why should everyone feel bad for you when you're getting yourself into an easily avoidable situation? That's like me purposely not taking my ADHD medication, surrounding myself with distractions, and then complaining to everyone around me that I can't focus on work. Like, yeah, I don't have control over the fact that I have ADHD, but willingly putting myself into environments where I know I'll be distracted? That's on me. It sucks to have to adapt around disadvantages, but what you're dealt is out of your control. What you can control, however, is shifting things around to make your life easier despite this hand you're dealt. I'm not saying change every single aspect of your life overnight, or that it's even guaranteed to work, but small changes can have a huge impact. And even if the change isn't what you expected, at least it was small and didn't put you out, and you can easily swap and try something new. Today's sponsor is the perfect brand to help demonstrate this in a fun, lighthearted way. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service where you get a 30-day supply of your choice from over 600 designer scents for only $17 a month. You can skip any month without penalty, so you're not forced to make any big commitments. I decided to try variations of 2 scents I already like, just to see if the small change suited me. Marc Jacobs Daisy Love was a more fruity and woody version of the original Daisy, and Michel Germain Sexuel Paris was a little more sparkling and fruity than the sweeter Sexuel Noir. I immediately thought I preferred my originals, but after implementing the change of scent for 2 weeks, I realized I loved the lingering scent of Daisy Love just as much as the original. I even went off the deep end and tried Deck of Scarlet Maximalist, which introduced me to a love of pear-based scents, and Story of an Eason's Just Bloom, which taught me that I don't love florals without any other notes. No need to guess though, because Scentbird offers a quiz to help guide you to what you're looking for. Make sure to use my code RPhantom55 for 55% off your first month at Scentbird. That's only about $8. And exciting news, they're now available in Canada too. There's really no reason not to try something new. Who knows? You might just find the change to be exactly what you needed. Thank you again to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video and for helping demonstrate my important point. Now, let's get back to the video.
The comment reads, I'm saying this in the least judgmental way possible. Why do so many people have Dream SMP alters? Okay. This is going to be kind of a couple segments, if you will. So the first kind of part is like knowing why systems split, and it's often because of trauma, stress. Sometimes it's not for those reasons. Sometimes you kind of split because.
Because why? Because it's a Friday night and your improv class got canceled last minute, so you need to get your drama kit out somehow? Because you watch the Dream SMP and think you know the person behind the persona and want to embody your idea of them? Or because maybe you know that any Dream SMP tags on TikTok always get you the most likes, so combining them with the DID tags will make you a super popular influencer. I mean, you couldn't certainly mean that people with DID create new alters just because. That isn't how a trauma-based dissociative disorder works. And that would be pretty disrespectful to the people who suffer from DID to have that misinformation spread around. Kinda ableist, if you will.
So if we think about when the Dream SMP became really popular, this was the height of 2020 lockdown. The Dream SMP started in May of 2020 and really popped off by July. So a lot of people were undergoing massive amounts of stress and like really not doing well. And by the time all of that got rolling, it was, again, like really high stress. So you're likely going to see splits in systems anyway. And then, especially if they're neurodivergent, any kind of fixation on media will likely cause those splits to form into interjects, which are alters that have outside sources. So that could be fictional characters, real people, etc., etc. And that can be why that happened.
Oh yeah, totally. I developed an alter of Heimlich from A Bug's Life after my parents made me mow the lawn that one time. And the pandemic? Well, that made me fragment into Dr. House, because I was bored and binge-watched the show in lockdown. Dude, I'm not going to discredit how hard the pandemic has been and how it definitely affected the mental health of a lot of people. And the circumstances could definitely be something that causes a split in someone with DID. But to infer that a bunch of teens who had never experienced severe childhood trauma or displayed any signs of DID before suddenly all developed and displayed obvious signs of a rare disorder characterized by childhood trauma before the age of 8, a disorder that's supposed to be subtle enough that it goes undetected to protect the person, and conveniently around the time they had nothing to do but spend time on a growing social platform where mental illness is glamorized? Not to mention the even more convenient aspect of sharing the same alters with other TikTokers to connect to them, and to connect to the YouTubers that have an audience known for creating very intense parasocial relationships with them. Doubt. To say that period of time was hard and affected you is valid. There's no need to try and emphasize your struggle by pretending to have someone else's mental illness, especially while acting like it's cute because the reality of the disorder isn't quite as fun for TikTok.
And then why you see so many people on TikTok is that popularity of TikTok as an app, not just for cringy cosplayers, because that's what it was in 2019, now has a massive amount of people on it. Much more than we had, prior to the pandemic. But that's kind of all of that.
Yeah, me dressing up exactly like a character and saying I am them and doing their mannerisms and saying we share the same interests isn't cringy cosplay. It's real. And me saying I have a super rare disorder that mostly isn't diagnosed until later adulthood because of the brain still developing until your mid-20s isn't cosplaying either. Because I'm self-diagnosed, so it's obviously true. The psychiatrist that I saw is obviously just cosplaying as one, because they said I don't have DID, so they obviously aren't a real professional. Cringy cosplayers, huh? Many cosplayers spend hundreds of hours hand-making their own costumes and they aren't harming anyone by enjoying their interest. The attention and clout for the effort they put in is well deserved. To put up a new name, age, and pronoun text on your 2-minute TikTok while quickly combing your hair to the other side and maybe slipping on a change of sweater to really emphasize you're now a different alter? Low effort, undeserved clout at someone else's expense, and it's harming those who genuinely suffer with DID by spreading blatant misinformation and invalidating the sheer trauma it takes to develop. And so I ask, who's the cringy one? Okay, some quick context here. The next clip is referencing a trend that's basically furries wanting an animal feature, and then they segue into showing off their fursuit. The song that's supposed to be playing alongside it will get copyrighted, but it mentions animals. It's harmless fun, so just bear that in mind when watching the next clip.
As someone who isn't a human and hates that I'm in a human body, this trend is hella disrespectful. F you to anyone who does this or thinks this is the funniest ever. Disappointed face.
What's with the finger sniffing after scratching your head? Was your brain working extra hard to come up with a way to be oppressed and you had to check if your plan of sparking outrage smelled like bullshit?
Come on, you stupid brain.
What to get offended about today? No, can't be some real world problem because then it's not about me. And if it's not about me, then what's the point? Let's get offended by people wearing animal outfits and showing them off. How can I spin that? Ooh, I know. One of my alters can be a non-human, and then it's like they're mocking my inability to be myself. Extra oppression points for the DID, and then the rest of the community will validate me too. Awesome. Best Saturday night ever. Genuinely, respectfully, who cares? It's not spreading harmful rhetoric or outright mocking someone. It's people being silly and engaging with their community. They're not targeting you and your animal alters, and that's generously assuming that you do have DID, which, sure. If you care that much about being personally offended by things clearly not about you, then get off the internet. Seriously. There's going to be too much on there for you to twist around and be upset about, and you'll live a miserable life that could be avoided by not looking at social media for a while. I mean, you don't even have to quit entirely. A small change works, like I've been saying. Even just cutting back and limiting your time online, or limiting your posting frequency. Either way, it's clear you need to spend more time doing things that make you feel good instead of filling your free time trying to be down. It's not healthy to be seeking out ways to feel oppressed. It's not glam to suffer. It's not shameful, but it's simply a reality for a lot of people who have no control over being born a certain way. Most people suffering from a disadvantage are fighting to be seen as equals, to end stigma, and they just want to live a normal life despite whatever bad cards they were dealt. They're not looking for every little thing and trying to make it about them and cement their victimhood even further. They're aiming to empower themselves. Stop making those with mental illness look like whiny victim players who get offended at things that don't matter, and making them more of a joke than a lot of people already see them as because of this dumb TikTok boom of faking and glamorizing disorders. I was obviously misdiagnosed with ADHD because the dry eyes my medication gives me makes me have to blink constantly and I can't win this game. I also can't do the symptom every ADHD person has of dissociating on command. I'll admit it. When the psych snapped their fingers and demanded I go blank to prove that I have it, I couldn't do it. I told him I actually have a lot of trouble clearing my head, and that the complete lack of control over my own thoughts makes it impossible to stop hyper-focusing on irrelevant things when I'm desperate to get other tasks done. Obviously his response was, "Have you tried those focus gummies the really cool and totally legit TikTok DID influencers are promoting?" He tossed me out when I said no, telling me that I was totally faking. He thought I was a conspiracy theorist doing a disservice to all the TikTok self-diagnosed no-blinkers by saying dissociation is an involuntary thing that happens when you have an injury triggered and doesn't necessarily mean staring off into space. I see the error of my ways now. I'll turn in my big neon ADHD badge that I bought myself on Etsy to make sure everyone knows I have a disorder that's none of their business. Get the Twitter cancel party trending. I get it.
I'm totally gonna cancel her on Twitter.
Okay, forget that ADHD button. I need Squidward's infamous "I really wish I weren't here right now" button. I can't believe how wrong you are. Well, you got one thing right. You definitely have undiagnosed ADHD, because that is not the criteria used to diagnose. And you trying to make that connection means you must be self-diagnosed. And like I said, dissociation isn't a choice. It happens when your fight or flight is triggered to try and protect you. Fun fact, you can be going about your whole day dissociated, functioning on a physical level but not really there mentally. This type of thing is harmful for two reasons. One, it spreads misinformation, and two, it uses really easy criteria to lure people in to give them a way to convince themselves that they have a disorder they don't actually suffer from. It's a sick way of getting attention and clout. Don't engage with them and just watch the re-uploads on Reddit instead.
Okay, I'm feeling pretty dizzy, so let's try it and distract myself. Curl, curl, swipe, swipe. Feeling crappy, but I've gotten a lot done. I'm on a roll. Now time for the face. Boo, boo, dot. Blend, blend, blend. Wait, why is my vision turning black? Oh shit, that's why. Better stay sitting up in case I won't faint. Maybe I'm in the clear. Nope. Okay, I took a little resting break, so let's get back to it. Wait, something feels a little funny. Ouch. Oh, that's why. Functional tics, we meet again. This is why I always have neck pain, you bitch. Boo. Boo. Lean back, spritz, spritz. Now I feel dizzy, shouldn't have leaned back like that. Currently regretting everything. And down we go. Good morning. Luckily, I completed the look right before I fainted. Pose. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye.
Alright, I'm gonna need to break this one down, because yikes. I'm feeling dizzy, so instead of putting away the sharp objects I'm holding up to my eyeballs and lying down to avoid concussion or broken bones, let's continue to do my makeup. Priorities, am I right? Better stay sitting up in case I don't faint. That's like saying, better bet all my life savings on this game of poker in case I don't lose. More like, better bet all my life savings and risk losing my home and my family. More like, better stay sitting up even though I could get permanent life-changing injuries if I faint. Of course, the gold standard cute face to the camera to get compliments, and to also double check your recording and that your mom didn't text you that she's coming home early, which means she would catch you in your lie. And then the falling gently and dreamily like a beautiful fairy with your head protected despite that not being how physics works when your body goes limp, falling out of frame to hide the discrepancies, and continuing the TikTok instead of making sure you're okay. Awesome. Oh yes, one cutesy glamorized disorder isn't enough. Let's throw in the Tourette's too, and then we can add those tags to get more clout. And then of course, making an infuriating comment about aggravating your disorder purposely while pulling a quirky face like it's super annoying and totally not your fault. Add in a second faint conveniently when you go to hold your head up with your hand, and make sure to end with the makeup look you coincidentally finished right before passing out so you can also get comments about the makeup and claim the TikTok is about the makeup and not having disorders when someone calls you out for putting on a glamorized show of fainting. And if someone does call you out, well then your little posse of TikTok followers will say that you're raising awareness and that we're all ableist. It's the perfect situation. This is a territory I think is really starting to get dangerous, if it wasn't already bad enough. Do I think that some of these people are genuinely suffering from POTS or anxiety or whatever? Absolutely. Do I think that the ones that aren't faking are still making their symptoms appear worse online for attention? Or are only recording cutesy videos because they're embarrassed of the reality of their illness? Also yes. When you have non-fakers coming in, misrepresenting disorders, it makes it even harder for people to navigate and figure out what the truth is. I mean, you'd be inclined to believe someone with proof of their illness and take what they say at face value, right? But what if they're saying things that aren't true because it gets them more attention and clicks? And what's the knockback effect of the diagnosed people exaggerating and lying about their symptoms? Will we have wrong and biased studies and publishings? Will definitions and criteria get wrongly changed in the DSM for disorders that don't need changing? It's kind of scary to think about. I can't believe this is still a growing trend, one that clearly hasn't even come close to peaking yet. Originally, I thought this would be a topic I covered from a small subreddit, you know, to be different from other commentary channels to try and grow, and then we'd move on. 1.4 million views on a video, 100,000 subscribers, and 1 year later, and it's truly become a niche that shaped the type of content I want to focus on. I want to help stop the spread of misinformation that's completely ruined the progress society has made towards accepting those with stigmatized disorders. I want kids to grow up knowing they can open up about their struggles to get help, but also knowing they don't have to make it their whole life because they're more than that. I want to empower those suffering and show them that they do not have to accept the role of victim and can see their disorder as neutral instead of shameful or a tool to get attention from others. And I want to help those who feel the need to fake for attention or who use their illness as an identity to lead them to habits and hobbies that help develop their personalities around things they're passionate about, not around their illness. I'll have to make a video on these up-and-coming physical illness fakers soon, but in the meantime, let me know if there are any specifics you'd like to see me cover in the comments below. And if you want this message spread on YouTube, then let the algorithm know by liking, commenting, engaging, subscribing, and watching till the end. I really appreciate it, and it does work to push the video, so you can pat yourself on the back if it pops off. Make sure to come hang out with me on my Discord, link in the description, where you'll also find my merch shop and my other socials as well, so be sure to check those out too. And that's all from me. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I shall see you all in the next video. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Thanks for watching.